senior parent seminar. Be the same information that we shared at back to school night with senior parents. If you have questions, you can email us at guestspeaker2016@gmail.com. We'll be watching the email and looking for questions from folks as we go along. So we'll stop periodically to go through those questions. So a lot of our students are a bit worried about what's their plan. We're currently about 15% of our seniors have already submitted an application. So we're hopeful that they are working on their plan. We don't want to add more stress to the seniors, but we do need to get everybody ahead of our goal, which is to have 80% of our seniors applying by winter break. That was what we were able to achieve last year. So throughout September, students have been meeting with their senior counselor through appointments that they set up through setmore.com. Most of them have had this meeting. We have probably about 6 or 7% that still need to meet. That link is on the website for Rockridge under counseling. So if your senior hasn't had their meeting yet, please make certain that they go to the website and sign up to meet with their counselor, or they can always come in and sign up, but make sure that they have an appointment to outline their plans for their college application process and kind of life beyond high school. So as this quote says, it always seems impossible until it's done. We are hoping that through these meetings using Setmore, that seniors will really lay out their plan for next year, whether that's their college plans or post-high school activities for a job. We want to make sure everybody has a plan before they leave us. All right, we asked our students this question, and we asked them, where are you in the process? I've applied to one college. I know where I will apply, but haven't, not sure, I have no clue. A majority of the students said, I know where I will apply, but haven't. When we asked parents this question at the parent night, more of them thought their students had already applied to college than our seniors had responded. So we want to make sure that students and parents are on the same page in the application process. So parents, make sure you know if your students applied, what their plan is, because more students think their seniors have applied than seniors actually told us. So one of the things that has come up over and over in the last few years is this notion that colleges are looking at social media to find out more information about their students and or your child. And in the last few years, it's gone up considerably. According to this survey back in January 2016, 40% of admissions officers said they visit applicants' social media pages to learn about them. And that's 4 times the percentage that did so in 2008. So make certain that your students, social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all have appropriate pictures, comments, links, so that, how they're represented online is truly how they wish to be represented and colleges wish to see them. One big thing is to make certain that students have an appropriate email. It should have some part of their name, say first letter of the name, first initial, and then full last name, or vice versa, full first name, last initial, for college applications. Every correspondence that you receive from a college is pretty much going to come through email. If it comes through snail mail, it may be too late. Parents, you should know the password for this account. It should be written down on the refrigerator, someplace where everybody knows what the email account is and what information should be coming to that email account. All correspondence about admissions, missing pieces of the application will come through the email from the college. So make sure everybody knows that information.
No, I just think it's important that you also remind your students to check their email regularly. I find even now we send correspondence, there seems to be a large gap at times between when students get those emails, and sometimes they miss important things. And a lot of times through email, the schools that you're applying to will let you know if they're missing documents, or if there are things that they have received in checklist form. So have them keep up on that and make sure they're checking it regularly.
Yes, and please, again, appropriate emails, appropriate names. We don't want an email to be what keeps a student out of college, an email account. All right, so what should students do? It's very important that this process be done by the student. Parents, we want you to help the students, but we need to make sure that students know what the process is, their timelines, and even something as simple as their Common App account, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Um, Several times last year and recently, this was talked about at the National Association of College Admissions Counselors Conference. Students were uncertain of where they applied because their parents did the application. And this is an interesting and somewhat difficult problem because some students were getting responses from colleges last year saying, are you coming or not coming? And they're holding a spot, an admission spot for a student that may really want to go there, and they didn't even know they applied. With the Common App, students can apply to some 400 colleges at one time. So you have to make certain that if you're helping your student, you're not doing everything and that they know where they applied, because that wasn't the case sometimes. And even things as simple as making sure your student knows the passwords to their Common App account, or if it's not a Common App school, the information that they put on the application that goes to that school, that you know their passwords, and information for those non-Common App schools also. But it's good to know the Common App account information for your student and any other accounts, but they're the ones that should be doing the applications.
They should also be checking their deadlines, filling out transcript request forms, and making sure they get all their documents in on time. We've indicated that if you want to help somewhere, I think one of the biggest places that parents can assist is in filling out the FAFSA, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
So it's important when students are asking their teachers or folks in the community for a letter of recommendation that it's the right person. Some colleges specifically ask for, say, an English teacher and a math teacher, or a coach and someone else who's had an impact on their life. But make sure that your students asking, giving the teacher an appropriate amount of time, and that it's the right teacher for what the application is asking. And it's a teacher that knows your student. As you can see from this letter of recommendation, I'm not sure the professor knew who the student was.
I think also one of the biggest things is to make sure that when you're asking the teacher for the recommendation, that it sort of fits with the general interests of the student. So, and it can, you can all, and it, you know, feel like it's a coach, that person can speak to the student's organization, leadership skills, and things of that nature. So you want to give some thought, and otherwise, not choosing a letter like the one you see here. They're a great person, they're smart, and that's pretty much it. So give some thought to who you ask. If you have a great interest in math and you've demonstrated that throughout your transcripts, you've demonstrated that throughout, you know, the things you've indicated on your application that you want to study, then consider strongly getting a math teacher to fill out that recommendation.
Again, remember the student does the common application or the application to the school. This is their chance to show who they are and what they do. Make sure their essays are reflective of who they are. We don't want students to write essays because they think the college wants to hear this information. The information should be about your student, and they're painting a picture of who they are.
In many instances, there may be a, even if they fill out the Common App, there's going to be an essay that goes along with it. So while you'll submit that, you can take the time within the application requirements, which we'd like for them to pay very close attention to. They can take the opportunity within that essay to write a little more information about themselves. But it's important, if you do have several Common App schools, or they have other options of applying, can strongly consider using the Common App, because you can apply to a couple of schools using that and then do the essays along with it.
Yeah, I remember again, some schools, they'll have the Common App essay prompt, but they may have a specific essay prompt for that college. It's an additional essay. If it says optional, please still try and do it. Optional usually means they would like you to do it. And again, like we said, remember, don't write your students' essays. This is something that we've heard a little bit more of from the college admissions folks, where they get stories of parents calling them saying, "I'm sorry, there were so many spelling errors in my child's essay. I was the one that wrote it, so don't hold it against them in the application." That's not a good way to start your application process or your impression for college.
No.
What we want to talk about now is the matching for the Common App. And this is something that we have a video we'd like to show real quick. It'll be how students can match their Common App in Naviance. Give us 1 second for this.
This video will demonstrate the 5-step process to match your Common App account to Family Connection. Step 1. Open a web browser and go to commonapp.org. Step 2. If you have already registered for Common App, click Apply Now and enter your email address and password. If you have not yet registered for Common App, click on Apply Now, then click the Create an Account link. To register, enter the required email and password information and complete the registration information as required. Step 3. Once you are logged into your Common App account, you must complete the following tasks before you can match your account and Family Connection. 1. Complete the current or most recent school segment of the Education section located in the Common App tab. Make sure to choose the school you are currently attending by clicking Find School. 2. Add at least one college to your My Colleges list by searching for colleges and universities under College Search. 3. Read and sign the FERPA release authorization in the Recommenders and FERPA section of the My Colleges tab. Step 4. Now that you have completed the initial steps on Common App, let's move over to Family Connection to match your Common App account and begin managing your college applications. You can find the Common App account matching screen within the Colleges I'm Applying To link under the Colleges tab in Family Connection. To match your Family Connection and Common App accounts, enter the email address you used to register for your Common App account into the Common App matching screen. Also enter your date of birth and then click Match. Make sure your name and email address are identical to what you used while registering in the Common App system. Step 5. Once your accounts are matched successfully, review your Colleges I'm Applying To list in Family Connection.
Okay, so that's the process. We've discussed that with students. The video is also posted on our Twitter if you need to follow back and watch it. And we'll probably retweet that link so that you are able to watch the Common App matching process again in Naviance.
All right, and if your student is still struggling or needs a little help, just send them to see their counselor and we can help them with the matching process.
They can also check in with Miss Alder, who helps us out with Naviance. She's our career and college specialist. So one of the things that we've really talked to students about was making sure you've taken your SAT or ACT, and that you know if your college is requiring an SAT subject test. These are the remaining dates for the ACT that students should be signing up for if they have not. We're past the late registration time for the October 22nd date for the ACT, but there's still time to sign up for the December ACT. And depending on your college's deadline, you may be able to take the February 11th ACT. Here's some of the dates for the SAT and the subject tests. Make sure again that when you take the SAT and you need to take a subject test, that you sign up for the appropriate time and test. Typically, you can take 2 subject tests in an SAT sitting date. Here are the other test dates throughout the year for subject tests.
So here's the timeline that we are utilizing here for our students to help us help them through the process. So we generally ask our students to submit a transcript request form. This form can be found in our school counseling office, or you can find it online on our website and print one out. On the back of the form, it gives dates. Those dates generally fall about 3 weeks before your student's application is due. So they will need to have the form to us. Once the form is turned in, to the transcript request form to Mrs. Sanabria in the school counseling office, the counselor then can electronically send the information through the program we're using, which is Naviance. So your student has the opportunity to apply online and to make sure that their college list is updated just before that. But then we will take care of sending out any school reports that we need to, request forms, transcripts and or requests as they're needed.
All right, we're going to take a second and check if there are any questions, give folks time to send in questions. Again, if you want to email guest speaker 2016@gmail.com, we can pick up your questions there and see if anybody has any questions at this point. So we're checking on questions and it looks like we're good. One of the ways that you can check your deadlines for your colleges is through Naviance. It'll list every college you need to see, the deadlines for early action and regular decision, or early decision and regular decision. But make sure you know your deadlines. That's very important. We also gave students a list of deadlines that are for turning in their information about applications to us. Their transcript request form needs to be in roughly about 2 weeks before the deadline. 3 weeks before the deadline. And if you're still not sure, we have a number of colleges. Yesterday, Longwood was here, that are coming through to meet with students, typically during rock block, sometimes during lunch, that they're able to ask questions, see if they're a good fit for that college.
So there is a distinction between early decision and early action. So you need to get this information from Naviance. When the student selects the college, they can click on the college and those deadlines will come up. If your student is looking to do early action, that is a binding decision. I'm sorry, next slide, forgive me. The early decision is a binding decision, where if a student determines that they want to go to that college, they can only pick one that they would like to do. You can look at it sort of like a contract. If your student is accepted, that's the school they need to go. If your student would like to do early action, they can receive an option to hear earlier than the regular deadline if they're accepted to the school. A lot of the questions that we get are, is there a difference between applying for early decision, early action, and or going for regular decision? So does my child have an advantage? I think some of the advantages are individual. For some of our students, the early decision advantage is letting the college know that you're committed to wanting to come. So it's it's one of the factors in considering your child for admittance into that school. And early action can give a similar message that your student is organized, ready to go, and they have a commitment to wanting to attend that school. That being said, I think the students who apply for regular decision that still have a good profile still have a very good opportunity to go to the college of their choice.
Make certain with, when you're looking at the deadlines, that if there are any deadlines for specific scholarships, sometimes those are earlier. So applying earlier may help in being eligible for some merit-based scholarships at your college.
One of the other things I've noticed this year is the introduction of priority. So I'll see early decision, early action, and I'll see priority. A lot of those priority deadlines are the ones that are connected to scholarship opportunities. So while they're non-binding, for the most part, I haven't seen any so far, so I don't want to make an absolute statement. Those deadlines are generally connected with scholarship financial opportunities.
All right, we'll check one more time, see if there's any questions. Seems like we're doing okay on questions. One thing we talked about with our seniors, and we did this last year, was everybody has to have a plan, not just, I want to do this, I want to do that. We want to be able to verify what students are doing when they leave us. And our goal last year was $1 million in scholarships. We had 134 graduates, and they came very close. I believe it was around 800 or 850,000 in scholarships that our students were able to receive. This year, we really want students to get ahead of that. Starting in December is when you start to see some of the applications for scholarships come out. They'll be posted on the website. Usually, Ms. Alder has it on the under the Career Center, so you can look for those scholarship opportunities on her website. And this was just a video that our students made for us from last year. And I probably will not show it now since we only have a few minutes left, but it has been posted on our website. And it's advice from last year's seniors. So if you wish, at the end, you can check it out. It's on our website. And there's a link via Twitter also. So we'll check again for questions. Looks like we're doing okay for questions. So we will end this session. If you have any questions, you can still email us, or email your counselor, or we'll check the guest email account. We'll be back at 2 o'clock doing this similar presentation. So if you wish to come back, please do, and have a good rest of the day.